In this video, I'll show you how to throw a cylinder on the wheel. Hi, Marie here, back with another informative pottery making video for you. How many of you want to give up because you're having a hard time making a cylinder? When I started, the only thing that I could throw was a cup, and half the time it would turn into a bowl, so I know how hard it can be. In this demonstration, I'll show you how to throw a cylinder so you can have the confidence to make things like large mugs, utensil holders, and vases. Once you get the hang of it, you'll be pulling a cylinder like a pro. With that said, let's get throwing. I have 2 pounds of clay already centered. My last video was on how to center, so I'll get right into making the cylinder. I'm using Amico 38 stoneware white clay. This is a high fire clay. It has no grog, but it can still throw a large amount of clay. For this demonstration, I'll make the base about 4 inches across, and we'll try to get up to at least 7 inches high. With your anchor hand on the side of the clay, press down the clay until your base is about 4.5 inches across. Looks good. Give it a little water. Now let your thumbs find the center. The spinning wheel will draw your thumbs into the center. Now press down. If you feel friction, introduce more water. Once your thumbs can't go any further, use your middle and index finger to continue. Stop to check the thickness with your needle tool. Remove the excess water first. Take your needle tool to the bottom and put your finger right up against the clay. That's a good 1/2 inch. I'll be trimming, so that's perfect. Now create a flat bottom before you pull up the walls. Introduce a little more water. Place your anchor hand on the side of the clay as you place your index and middle finger on the inside and push the clay outward about a good 3.5 inches. That looks good. Use your sponge to remove any water. Compress the clay and even out the bottom. Now that you have the base, you can start pulling up the walls. You don't want your wheel to go too fast or too slow. Right in between is good. Using a thin sponge with a little water in it gives you more control over the clay and helps you to pull up the clay more evenly. Now you don't want your sponge too damp or loaded with too much water. Just a little is fine. Your outside fingers are going to be pushing the clay up and inward, while your inside fingers are going to be just above your outside fingers and guiding the clay upward. Squeeze the clay at the base and move it up, allowing the wheel to rotate at least once before moving your fingers upward. Anchoring your left thumb against your right hand helps to keep the pressure of your fingers consistent, keeping the thickness of the sides even throughout your piece. Once you get to the top, compress the rim. This makes the rim stronger. When introducing water on the inside, squeeze your sponge on your finger so the water cascades down onto the side of your cylinder and slowly spin your wheel. If you squeeze the water just on the bottom, you won't have enough water on the sides as you're bringing up the clay. Don't grab too much clay at once. Now pull up the walls again, slow and even. Pushing inward as your fingers are guiding on the inside. Now, compress the rim. After your second or third time, soak up the water with your sponge. This helps to keep the clay stronger by compressing the clay particles together and stopping the water from penetrating and weakening the clay. Now you can introduce more water. Get the sides on the inside good. And grab some more clay. About medium speed is good. Touch your thumb to your right hand as soon as you can. Continue with even pressure. And compress your rim. One of my teachers showed me this trick. It was very helpful when I was learning how to throw a cylinder. Use a needle tool to check the thickness of the sides until you get the feel of the thickness with your fingers. Start at the bottom and put your index finger on the inside until the needle tool touches your finger. Now put your other index finger up against the clay and pull it out. Now I know I have about a half an inch of clay. Go up a little higher and see how much clay I have. I have less. About a quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch. and 1/4 inch. So now I know I can pull more clay up from the bottom. More water cascading down. And grab that clay on the bottom and pull her up. Slow with even pressure with your fingers. Great. Soak up the extra water with your sponge and compress the bottom again. Grab the clay and pull up again. Make sure it rotates at least once before you move upward. Nice and even pressure. Now use your metal scraper, wooden or rubber rib to straighten out the cylinder. Use your inside fingers for support on the outside. All that slip. Wow. Now remove any excess water from the bottom and compress the clay on the bottom. Compress your rim. You can use a wooden modeling tool to make a foot, like this. Get rid of the extra clay on the wheel or bat. My favorite tool for making a foot is the Ultimate Edger. Check out my first video on YouTube for the Ultimate Edger, where I show you how to make a perfect foot every time. Now you have a cylinder. You can add a handle and have a good size mug. The tips that I shared with you should help you to pull up a nice cylinder. If it doesn't happen right away, grab a few balls of clay and just keep practicing. Pretty soon you'll be throwing like a pro. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. With your newfound skills, head on over to this how to make a mug video or how to throw a vase video. If you do, I get to play with more clay. Let's stay dirty